Hello world, it's Rational Pi. I'm here today, not with my normal peppy, happy misdemeanor. It's demeanor, isn't it? I said the wrong word. I knew I was being corrected for something. Anyway, I'm not here with my normal self, because there's some sad news to report. And that is that a hitchhiking robot called HitchBot has been killed. So the story of HitchBot is that it's from Canada and that it was able to hitchhike its way through 6,000 miles of the cold Canadian tundra, all the way from the west coast to the east coast, and across 10 days in Germany for good measure, all with no issues. It was able to get rides, it was able to track its progress, all with its crazy little noodle arms and its funny little smiley face. And you could say its whole reason for living was to hitchhike. It was to travel. He loved to travel. And that's the one thing that you will remember most about HitchBot. But then 2 weeks ago, he decided to come into good old United States. He was able to travel the Northeast with no issues until he reached Philadelphia. And in Philadelphia, that's where things went wrong. A group of somebody, or it could be an individual, decided to decapitate good old HitchBot and dismember his body and find him into what seems to be a ditch. The whole experiment for HitchBot was to see how people were to react to seeing a robot on the street. Would they help it? Would they ignore it? Would they kill it? Well, we found our answer here in America. That kind of shows to me that as a society, at least here in the United States, we're not ready for everyday robots. We're not ready for human-like, 6-foot-tall, walking around robots. As much as everybody wants them to be around, and granted this robot may look a little funny, but I don't know if it's just a jock trying to get mad at the nerd science experiment and destroying it. I don't know if it's a group of kids looking for attention just to be mean, and if that's the case, that's the saddest story of them all. If it's just a group of people looking to be mean. I hope that's not the case. Fare thee well, MakerBot, or HitchBot, not MakerBot, that's the 3D printing. Fare thee well, HitchBot. May they reincarnation be more well respected. Our second story today, which, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, I'm now pulling stories from I Fucking Love Science. Pardon my language there, but that's literally the name of the website. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. Our next two pieces of information are both regarding aerial vehicles and internet. First, in Sri Lanka, which, if I remember correctly, is a island country somewhere, I think in Europe, maybe? I could look it up, but I'm not because I'm lazy. But anyway, Sri Lanka has announced that it's partnering with Google to produce giant balloons that, when strategically placed, will cover the whole country to be able to have wireless internet. Similarly, Facebook announced that it has its drone, which I believe the name is Aquila. Looks like it's a big drone that's able to produce Wi-Fi signals, and it doesn't look like they have a specific target for it yet. But both of these projects are showing how vital it is in today's world that we be connected to the internet. Not just here in America, but everywhere around the world. Even third world countries, they're starting to need that internet connectivity to be able to reach out. So I applaud the Sri Lankan government, I applaud Google, and I applaud Facebook for trying to produce these new pieces of technology and these new, really innovative ways to use the combination of computer science and aerospace engineering to provide a necessary, it's not even a privilege anymore, it's something that's a necessity, to provide this necessity to over 22 million people, at least in Sri Lanka, and then whatever it is Facebook is deciding to do with this new drone. I think that's pretty damn cool. So our fourth thing we're going to mention today is scientists now make the very first ever white laser. Now you may think to yourself, well, why is this significant? Well, it used to be whenever you have like a little laser pointer that you play with your cats or decide to try to blow up planets with, it usually can only produce one wavelength. And that one wavelength doesn't change throughout the course of the laser pointer's lifestyle or lifetime. But now what they've been able to do is they created a semiconductor, and I'm just going to read it from the article here. They created a semiconductor which is a nanosheet that has roughly 1/1000th of the thickness of a human hair, and the researchers had to work out a way to make it with a structure that emits multiple wavelengths. They were previously able to show that this was possible with red and green, but found it was difficult to add blue to the mix. Well, it looks like they were not able to do so, because now it can produce red, green, blue, red and green, green and blue, and red and blue, and then when you combine them all together, it produces a white light. So now you have this laser that's able to shoot all of the different colors that are theoretically possible. It looks pretty rigid so far, where it's just red and green makes orange, green and blue makes that teal color, and then red and blue is purple. I don't know if they're able to literally use every wavelength available in between, but it is a pretty cool experiment, and it looks like they did it by combining zinc, calcium, sulfur, and selenium to make an alloy that emitted the 3 separate wavelengths of red, green, and blue. So it's pretty neat. All of the articles I mentioned here in the video will be posted in the description. Some pictures will be posted throughout the video. There's a lot more information in there that I'm not adding in here just due to time's sake. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about today was to continue with the robotics theme, this really neat water jumping robot. I don't know if you've ever seen the video of the little puddle jumper bugs, but they're able to use these really short or really long, really thin legs to utilize the surface tension of water. And then what they do is they're curved at the end like this, and whenever they suppress them, or like we would contract our muscles, once the force of the leg meets the appropriate force to break the surface tension of the water, that's when it brings it in and shoots up. So it literally uses the maximum amount of surface area and the maximum amount of surface tension to provide that space to use it to jump up. And they were able to recreate that using a little robot. And it has these 4 little legs, and it's able to jump over and over again. Now, the reason that the curve at the end is important is because whenever it pushes down, it adds a little bit extra surface area for that moment right before it jumps. There's a lot of kinetics involved. There's a lot of even material science involved with the water, and it's really fascinating the way they're able to put this together. And there's a video that's linked in the article, and there's a really neat little video of the little bug jumping. But the reason I'm making these videos, and this one's going to be 5 things on I fucking love science. The reason I share these videos and these things that I just find interesting, and I didn't even have to go back that far just to find these articles. I probably went 3 pages back, and these are just the things I found most interesting. I could probably go back 10, 20 pages and find 20 different things that just catches my eye. I want everybody to appreciate that not only the big things that we're doing, going to Pluto, finding out that Ceres has these spots on its surface that can create its own atmosphere by subliming material, which is an entirely different awesome thing that they found. Ceres is a little planet in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. There's just so many daily findings that scientists all around the world are able to find, and if I can just get any of that information out there anymore, then it means a lot to me. So please, even if it's just once a day, Go to IFL Science. Go to ScienceDaily.com. Go to Reddit's programming. Go to Reddit's Futurology. Futurology is a really awesome subreddit if you guys have a chance to check that out. Learn something new about science once a day, and you'll be amazed on what we've been able to do as a human species. I'm going to go ahead and end my video there. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything that you'd like for me to focus on in a future video, comment below. A like and subscribe is always appreciated. I know Pinkie Pie would really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.